let's talk a little bit about what you're seeing. We've spoken with a lot of business leaders who are pretty optimistic about what they hope to have happen with this new administration. You have concerns about what it will mean for the middle class and the business class. Why don't you lay them out?
Oh, well, that's exactly right, Becky. What we heard strongly in this 2024 election is that hardworking families in this country are finding it hard to make ends meet. So we are going to meet Republicans whenever they are serious about driving down costs for families, whether that's housing or construction or childcare. But if they are going back to a tax code that only has rewards for the very, very wealthiest, that is something that we are going to look at what they are proposing for offsets. And frankly, they are jaw-dropping. We have had Republicans say that they will balance these tax cuts for the billionaire class by cutting Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, by doing away with the mortgage interest deduction. All of these things hit the middle class, and we are going to push for a tax code that celebrates success, celebrates innovation, but that is fair to taxpayers. So we don't have a teacher paying more than a billionaire.
Congressman, what would really hurt the middle class is if these tax cuts expire. So more than 60% of the American public would see a tax increase. And when you talk about the middle class, I'm going to give you 2 points. One is the standard deduction, which doubled, which helps most Americans. And the other is the child tax credit, which doubled, and many people appreciate it. So are you advocating getting rid of those? Are you advocating keeping those? And what else would you do in terms of changes or keeping of the 2017 tax cuts?
Yeah, let's look at the child tax credit. What a success it is. And it not only helped us in a few months when it was at its peak under Democrats have child poverty in this country. We know that that money is directly spent. That money is spent in our small businesses. It is spent on consumer purchases. It is great money for making sure that we are injecting into the economy while we are helping parents.
Right. Sorry to interrupt, but so you would keep those, I assume. What would you get rid of specifically?
Well, let's look at the tax code. Let's look at where we put corporate rates. For one example,
but the corporate rates aren't they're permanent. You can't touch the corporate rate. They're permanent. We're talking about the individual provisions that are expiring.
Well, if we are going to look at the wide range, are you saying that we can never look at corporate tax rates? We have a proposal from the president to drop it down to 15%. We don't know what their exact tax proposal is going to be. And we are looking for ways that we will protect and cut taxes if we can for those. For those people in the middle class. But we know in 2018, it was the first time that the middle class was at a higher rate than the billionaire class. That is unsustainable. And we are going to look across the rates in this country, the rates that are expiring, and say, what can we do to make this more fair for people? That is how we build wealth in a robust economy. And so when we are looking at the offsets and the games that are being played with changing the baseline, we have to be very real. We have to look at what this did to our national debt in 2017. It drove it up by over $7 trillion.
That was largely due to spending. The revenue in many segments is at a record. You're in Massachusetts. You have a lot of people that have high incomes that are subject to the SALT cap. What would you do to the SALT cap, and what do you think is going to happen on the SALT cap?
You know, we have seen that has been the SALT cap has been another lever that President Trump used and took it away. And who is the SALT cap important to? Yes, very wealthy people benefit. But you know who benefits the most? Firefighters, teachers, police officers. I am for removing the cap on that. And how do we look at this? How do we balance our tax code?
3/4 of those benefits go to the top 10 5%. So you're in favor of something where almost all the benefits go to the highest earners.
Well, when we are looking at a high cost of housing state like Massachusetts, when we have a $10,000 cap, the average cost here is $15,000. And so we are denying and continuing to rig this tax code. So as we are
the average cost is
Democrats,
$15,000. You'd like to see SALT go to $15,000, or you'd like to remove the cap entirely?
I think that we have to have a conversation about what is fair and look at the SALT cap with all the other pieces of this tax code. When you have 83% of the tax code changes that are expiring benefit the top 1%, you cannot tell me that is a balanced and fair way to have our tax code represent hardworking people. How are we going to enable them if the way we are going to offset those tax provisions for the top 1% with Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid? I am not the one proposing those offsets. That is what we are hearing from the GOP.
Well,
so let's look at
President
the system.
Trump has not gone along with that. He's been saying the same thing, that he would not like to tap in or touch those things. And we'll see how this all goes under reconciliation.
He can be saying that, but that is exactly what the House GOP is proposing. They've written it down in their documents as we go into the reconciliation process. So Donald Trump knows that is politically dangerous, but that is exactly what the GOP is moving forward with.